Can I say I'm sort of sick of hearing about money in politics? It's really not that big a deal for me. You've heard about McCain-Feingold bill from several years ago that was supposed to save our election process from all the money. It didn't. It created even more problems. And then you had the Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, which I'm so sick of hearing all my progressive friends moan about that. Honestly, if a corporation or a union wants to give gazillions of dollars to a cause or a campaign, I don't care. What I'm concerned about, that's never talked about, is hypocrisy in politics. I'm sick of it. And nothing burns me more with some of these big issues than to hear the people who are promoting certain views that are just, give you some examples, a couple. Two famous people that are not in politics but are heavily involved, Leonardo DiCaprio and Warren Buffett. Now, Leonardo, as you know, climate change is his big issue in politics. The problem I have is this. Here's a guy, who I love his movies, by the way, jets around throughout the world in private jets. And even I read a story a couple of years ago. He rented one of the largest yachts in the world from an OPEC oil executive, believe it or not. And he drove that thing across the world and took some friends to the World Cup in Brazil. Now, here's my beef. I like Leonardo, but I want to say to him, hey, dude, if you really believe that man-made carbons are destroying the planet and we're headed for catastrophe, is that a good idea? That's hypocrisy. And then Warren Buffett is another one on the tax thing. You remember the story? He said it was a shame that his secretary paid a higher rate than him. I remember reading just recently, a couple of years ago, if you spread out his income over a year, he made $37 million a day. Now, I would like to do that for a while. Give me a couple of days of that, would be fine. But anyway, he said, you know, we got to change things. It's terrible, whatever. But he's a hypocrite, too, because you know what? With that kind of money and that kind of ability to speak where everybody listens, and I love Warren Buffett, why couldn't he have just said to Congress and to all the rich people, hey, I want to be an example. You know, Bernie Sanders said in his campaign, I think that the rich should pay 70%, I think it was. So he should say, you know what, I'm going to agree with Bernie, and I should be paying 70%. So here's what I'm going to start today. $37 million a day, that'd be $22 million a day. I'm going to write a check to the federal government for that amount of money. And the government is so good, they'll use it wisely, it'll help people, but I will be an example of the rate that I should be paying. You see, that would be something I would listen to, but he's a hypocrite too. But here's the deal. I don't want you to miss this. If you were to ask either Warren or Leonardo if they are hypocrites, they would say no. And you need to understand why. And they probably wouldn't say it like this, but let me help you. So here's what I believe. See, there's 7 billion people on the planet, and we're the problem. I mean, we're the reason for the pollution. We're sucking up all the air. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Polluting up the place. But if you totaled all the rich people, if you totaled all the smartest people in the world, all the most powerful people in the world, there's really not that many, maybe a few 100,000 at the most. Here's what I think. Those people, see, they're not hypocrites. They're just trying to look out for us. And so you see, they're trying to say, you know what, we're going to come together and we're going to use government, not themselves. They're going to use government to protect us, the rest of us, the 7 billion of us. They want to protect us from ourselves. And they want us to preserve their planet. I really believe that's what it's about. It's not a conspiracy. It's just my theory. They just feel like they've earned it, and we're the problem. My friends, I hope that worldview you will throw out into the trash. But for me, hypocrisy like that is 10 times worse than any amount of money in politics.